Leah Hall Brown, and this is LA Currents. Well, whether you like to dip or dive or splash or swim, the city of Los Angeles has lots of wonderful pools for you to enjoy this summer. And to tell us all about it, what you can and can't do, and how you can enjoy summer in the city, I'm delighted to be joined today by Monique Schwaneman. She is the Aquatic Facilities Manager. Let's start with the very basics. How does somebody get to come to one of the community pools?
Absolutely. Well, you can go ahead and find which pools are open by visiting our website at swimla.org. Once you find that out, come on in, make sure that you have a swimsuit. So it has to be the swimsuit material. And of course, if you need to have a full cover-up for religious reasons or personal reasons, that is totally fine, as long as it's that swimsuit material. So make sure you bring that. We don't allow flotation devices of your own. And a lifeguard's favorite rule, always walk. So please don't come running in here. We will tell you otherwise. And yeah, we have recreational swim, lap swimming for adults, lessons for kids and adults. It's a lot of fun.
What are some of the first things as a lifeguard you want people to realize when it comes to being safe in the water?
The first thing is communication with your party. Whoever you're swimming with, you never want to swim alone. You always want to swim with a buddy or a group, and then talk to each other. And don't be afraid about telling them what your limitations are. If you can only swim in the shallow end, that is totally fine. Just be open about that with the person that you're swimming with. Once you set those boundaries and let them know what your swimming level is, again, enter the water safely wherever you are. And it's also really important that if you're not entering the water yet, that your pool stays locked up, especially if you have a fence around it. No child should ever be left alone at a pool by themselves. Something that we do at our LA City pools is we do a swim assessment to gauge what level they're at for our swim lessons, but we also do a swim test before anyone goes into the deep end. So someone would have to do 2 laps there and back of freestyle or crawl stroke. So basically that just means that their hands are fully coming out of the water after they pull. And then once the lifeguard sees that, they are good to go and into the deep water. But if they're not ready for that yet, then they should stay in the shallow.
I want to talk about the swim lessons, but I want to keep on this safety topic for just a second, because I know when my daughter was little and we would go to, whether it be a friend's house or a community pool or something, you never necessarily knew who was in charge. So we came up with this thing where it may look silly, but it sure made us feel better. We would say, I'm the watcher, and we would acknowledge that. And we'd trade off, but we'd say, I'm the watcher.
Perfect. Yes, you're the water watcher. That is excellent. My family does that. I have a lot of cousins, so my aunts and uncles and my parents would trade off and do that as well. So making sure that you have a sober, alert adult that is watching over the kids, that is a great idea. And to be able to switch off, that's wonderful.
Yeah, because you never want that idea where I thought you were watching them. No, I thought you were watching them. That's a terrible thing to think about. Right. But all the opportunities that are available in this, wonderful environment, it's very tempting. I'm surprised they didn't let us actually do this in the water today. But having said that, what are some of the things that the LA City pools offer? You mentioned swim lessons.
Absolutely. Swim lessons for kids and for adults as well. So kids starting at the ages of 7 are allowed to get into the water and take swim lessons on their own.
Oh, wow. Is there actually an age in which it's too early to help? I mean, maybe not here at the LA pools, but too early to learn to swim?
Yeah, I think it's important to get kids comfortable with the water as soon as you can, even if it's just, kicking or blowing bubbles in the bathtub, because the more comfortable they are in a water environment, the easier their swim lesson is going to be.
What about adult? What about some of the adult opportunities that are available at the LA City pools?
Right, so we do have lap swimming, and then we also have lessons for adults. We have beginners, we have intermediates, and then we have other fun classes like Aquasize, which are our aqua aerobics classes.
And when it comes to the benefits of swimming, you're a lifelong swimmer. I mean, you started swimming when you were what?
I was actually in high school. I've loved the water since I was born, but I'm officially training in high school, actually.
Okay. So what are the benefits of, besides the fact it's beautiful, it's fun, what are some of the health things you can think about?
There are so many benefits for swimming. You're not going to have those, negative effects on your joints that maybe you might feel on your knees with running or with things like push-ups or anything like that. Working out is great all around, but the pool is therapeutic. You could do it at any level. You can get a good workout in, and it's good for people of all ages and people of all abilities as well.
What are some kind of games that you can play in the water that allow, a family to enjoy the pool or, get some exercise without even calling it exercise? What are some of the fun things that would really enhance someone's experience at the pool?
Well, a favorite of our swim team members and our classes is sharks and minnows. So
I love it already.
Yes. So basically, you could, depending on how big your party is, you can have one shark, you could have two sharks. Basically, it's tag in the water.
Okay.
So you're gonna try and start on one side and get to the other side without getting tagged by the shark. If you get tagged by the shark, then you are now the shark, and there are more sharks and minnows until you only have one minnow left, which is the winner.
A very brave little minnow to see with all those sharks. And what about, do we still do Marco Polo? Is that still a thing? Do kids even know that anymore?
I know Marco Polo.
Okay.
I definitely hear about it. It's only tricky in a public pool because your eyes are closed and you might run into people, and some people might not like that as much, but it's definitely still a game that's fun and that we see a lot.
You just brought up an excellent point. Because we're in a community environment and it's a community pool, I mean, this is not your private property. This belongs to everybody. So what are some of the courtesy things that one should consider when they come to a pool? I imagine not spreading their stuff out all over the place, and I imagine being a little bit more conscientious in the water. So what are some of the things that you want people to consider when they're coming down to the pool? Maybe they have a lot of kids, maybe they have no kids, maybe they're elderly, maybe they're young. What are some of the things that you would hope people would consider?
Yeah, so at most of our LA City pools, we have a white line that goes around the perimeter of the pool, or here you can see that we have the drains that go around. So we actually ask that people keep all of their personal belongings behind that line, or if not in the locker rooms, just to keep that space so people have space to walk on the deck and get into the water safely. And then, respecting people's space in the water. Of course, kids are going to splash. Absolutely. It's a pool. Everyone wants to have fun. But, you don't need to take up the whole pool or the whole shallow end. So just being kind and courteous to other people. You may bump into someone, of course, but just be nice about it. And just, we're all here to have a good time.
Are some pools have areas sort of separated, designated, so that, little guys can't pass this line of buoys and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. All of our pools do. So all of our pools will have a safety line when we're open to the public that differentiates the shallow water from the semi-deep and then the deep water.
We're sitting in the sun here, but people should also be conscientious when they're coming to a pool to think about skin safety.
Absolutely. We see so many times where kids are so excited and they slap on that sunscreen and they jump right in that water and it immediately comes off, right? So it's really important that you apply sunscreen, that you apply it well before you get in the water, maybe 15 minutes before you get in the water is a safe rule. And then if you get out of the water for a period of time, you go ahead and reapply, dry off, reapply before you get back in the water.
And are we still worried about when we eat and get in the water?
Well, there is no food or drink allowed on our decks.
There you go.
So it's not really a problem. Go ahead and eat outside, let your stomach settle, and then you're free to come in.
Okay, so that's a good point. What can you bring and what shouldn't you bring? No food.
No food. You can bring water, nothing glass. So you can't have like a glass container of water. It has to be in a plastic container. A towel. We don't provide towels, so you do bring your own. Sunscreen, definitely, and then a bathing suit. So it can't be the shorts that you were wearing all day or a regular t-shirt. If you want something to cover up, it has to be a rash guard. Just that standard swimsuit material.
And also for women's swimsuits, they can't necessarily be the thing you may or may not see on the cover of a Sports Illustrated.
Right. Again, this is a community pool, so we want to be respectful to everyone and wear something that you're comfortable, jumping in the water with or swimming in.
Well, it was fun. I can't wait to see you out on the water, and hopefully we get to talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. And that's a wrap on this LA Current.